Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Horizon Zero Dawn and it being a level of story at the potential of Star Wars and Harry Potter. So right now, I actually think that the two most valuable intellectual properties in the world are Star Wars and Harry Potter. And the reason why is these are incredible worlds. So you have these worlds that have been set up by an initial author, respectively, George Lucas and J.K. Rowling. And these works are incredibly powerful in drawing in having drawn in a massive following initially, and then being able to take that following and pass it on to generation after generation after generation. And I actually, I have incredible respect for both of those intellectual properties, for both of those world settings, for both of those worlds, right? So for the Star Wars world and the Harry Potter world, they are really special and unique to me, and I really enjoy content from them in books and movies tremendously. And they are, just world-shaking in our world intellectual properties that just command a huge amount of attention and money, and they are stories at scale, right? I believe that Horizon Zero Dawn is a story at the epic scale that has the commercial potential, that has the world impacting potential of Star Wars and Harry Potter. And the reason why is because of its uniqueness and the beauty of the elements that story has been crafted with. The world is flexible, nuanced, deep, and utterly unique. And that, I think that's one of the things is Star Wars is a space opera, but it is a stunningly unique world, right? And Harry Potter is the exact same thing. It's very British, there might have been, stories about, magical wizards previously, before Harry Potter came out, but man, there's nothing like it. It's just wonderfully unique. And I think Horizon Zero Dawn is exactly the same. So, at this point, spoilers going forward for Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn has the following elements that I think just make it incredibly unique. It seamlessly combines in a wonderful spicy gumbo technology and primitivism that I've never seen a work do that to this level. One world that does this similar to Horizon Zero Dawn is Shadowrun. I'm a huge fan of Shadowrun, tabletop role-playing game. They also made it into a video game. Super unique title. Really good. Horizon Zero Dawn is better, much better than Shadowrun. It's so groundbreaking. Now, the next thing I think that just makes this story so incredibly unique is the fact that in Horizon Zero Dawn, Aloy, the protagonist, everyone in Nora, the tribe she belongs to, everyone in Bantuka, that tribe, everyone within the Karja tribe, all of those people, all of the people we meet in Horizon Zero Dawn are modified clones. And the reason why is the world builders for Horizon Zero Dawn chose to get rid of every human being on Earth. So when we come to 3000 AD, which is the year of Horizon Zero Dawn, there has been a point, and I believe that point was in 2066, where there was not a single human being left on the Earth. That is, and that was 1,000 years ago. That is a stunning story point to build on. It is huge. It brings up so many questions, right? So one, is Aloy a human being? That is massive. That is such a massive question, right? And there's so many different things you can go with in that direction. The other thing is, Gaia is an AI. That's the other thing. You have AIs posing as gods. Gaia, Hades, all these, incredible, unique creatures in this story. It's really, just stunning. Like the scope of this story. You have AIs that are being worshipped as gods by humans. It's incredible, right? It's just incredible storytelling. So I'm really, I just really feel strongly that this is an immensely important aspect of the story, and it's going to do extremely well. It's going to do great. I really think that, going forward, just like Star Wars and Harry Potter, other people are going to be able to attach story to elements onto this, right? And tell incredible stories with it. The other thing is the idea of the machines, and that's one thing. So one, I think there's a lot of room for improvement on Horizon Zero Dawn, even though, in my opinion, Horizon Zero Dawn is absolutely the best story told in the 2010s. So from 2010 to 2017, I think that Horizon Zero Dawn is the best new world created in any medium, right? That counts books, that counts, television, movies, and video games. And that's saying a lot, because I am not a fan of the video game genre. But the reality is, Guerrilla Games has created such a compelling world. So the machines, let's talk about the machines for a minute, right? You have machines, super high-end technology machines that activate and have, that behave and have the form of animals. It's just like, it is mind-blowing. Like, and the other thing is, like, when people got very excited about this, and there were a lot of people cosplaying Aloy way before the game came out, right? And people were like, and the reason why is, you just had to say robot dinosaurs, right? But robot dinosaurs, not like big gigantic dinosaurs that are, like combined from other, not from a Japanese perspective, but this is giant. Like, this is robots, animal robots from the perspective of Native Americans, right? Like, just kind of, roaming across the earth the same way they would have in Native American society. And that's another issue, is you have Native American elements within this, which again, the style of that mixed with this technology, it's just such a beautiful juxtaposition. So I feel like the elements that were used to create this story, that were used to create this world, are so utterly unique and so visually beautiful, with the potential to continue to create visually beautiful stories, and really amazing stories. Like, the other issue is, there's things that they chose when they made this game and this world that are really, they're subtle, but the impact of them is massive. So one of the things is, there are no roads in Horizon Zero Dawn world. There are no roads, and that world is Earth. That's another thing that's really amazing. This is our world, just like Harry Potter is our world with a twist. Horizon Zero Dawn is our world, not even with a twist. It's just with a future event. It's saying, if this were to happen in the future, there's zero supernatural elements added to this, right? But because it's futuristic, you get many of the same aspects that you would get from magic. You have an incredible platform for action. And at the same time, the stories you can tell these great stories, because not everybody has a focus, which means that not everybody has instant communication. That's huge, because nothing shuts a story down faster than a cell phone, right? You can't tell a Nancy Drew story today, because every single, investigation she takes would be clickety click, phone call, done, right? So you get a lot of the awesome aspects of primitive cultures, of even regressed cultures, regressed 200 or 300 or 400 years ago. You get many of the, like letter writing and sailing a ship and all these kind of things, right? Those are great. Those are awesome, right? And there's a story reason why this world, with all this insane amount of technology, can be drastically different than ours. So the fact that there are no roads, that is huge, right? It means that travel is going to be slow. There's going to be a lot of up a hill, down a hill. I love that stuff, right? There's going to be a lot of, action in the journey, and time to sit up on top of a caravan and talk with someone. That type of is really incredible. But at the same time, you have a lot of the cool things that you can get from technology still there, but it's like literally in the haunches of a robo beast. It's like there's just so much potential here. It is stunning. I just can't say enough about Horizon Zero Dawn. I do not like video games, and I cannot stop thinking about this story, right? And I just watched my son play the game, and then I immediately read every single thing I could read about this game. And the story is amazing and compelling, and the world is the best world created in the last 7 years, without a doubt, right? So, when you're talking epic, incredible worlds that are, have massive, the ability to tell, for a lot of people to tell stories in that world, and for it to be a merchandising, platform, there's quite a few of them, right? There's Star Wars, there's Star Trek, there is Harry Potter, there is Game of Thrones. Those are the big ones. Pokemon, that's a big world. Voltron, things like that. There's these great worlds out there, and I think Horizon Zero Dawn is about to take its place as a massive cultural center for stories. I really think what has been built with Horizon Zero Dawn is truly unique, and you can tell stories there that you really could not have told before. Now, I do have some concerns, okay? One of the biggest concerns I have is the fact that it is a video game, right? I almost, I have a bias toward video games. I'm acknowledging that, and I'm also working through it. I'm realizing my bias toward video games has kept me from experiencing some amazing stories. The one thing my bias toward video games has allowed me to do is accomplish a huge amount of things, which is spend more time with my family, read more books, and a whole bunch of other things that I prefer over video gaming. But I have to acknowledge there are some amazing stories that are within the sphere of video games, and Horizon Zero Dawn is one of them, right? I feel like I now owe a debt to Guerrilla Games. I owe a debt to Sony Interactive Entertainment. I owe a debt to PlayStation, PlayStation 4 specifically, because this is an amazing world, and I feel like I'm just at the beginning of it, right? This feels to me right now, I'm 47 years old, and I feel like I'm 7. I was 7 years old, and I sat in a small theater with my brother and my mother and my father when I watched Star Wars. And when I saw that film, and when that film finished, I still remember it. That theater had yellow wallpaper and maroon carpets. It was in Savannah, Georgia. When that movie got done, I got up with my parents and with my brother, and we walked out, and I knew my life was changed. My life was changed. It set a new level for a new standard for movies, a new standard for science fiction, a new standard for stories, a new standard for heroes, right? And Star Wars it changed my life. Every 5 or 10 years that Star Wars has come back and said, here's an incredible piece of fiction and story that you can interact with, that you can share with friends, that you can write fan fiction about, that you can cosplay as, that you can collect figures for, that you can play board games of, that you can have trading card games of, all these awesome things. Do it. Read books, write about it, tabletop role-playing games, the whole nine, right? It really did, without a doubt, change my world. And I feel like I'm right there with Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm at the beginning of an amazing world that I want to spend time with, that I want to share with other people, right? Now, one of the problems with that is, I think right now, overall, Video games have a whole bunch of problems, right? And many of these problems come from massive success, right? They are commercially successful. Video games as a genre, as a platform for storytelling there's nothing that has been as commercially successful. They've surpassed movies. I think video games make far more money than movies do now, right? And usually their budgets are much, much larger than movies. So, they really have had huge success. But one of the issues that they currently have is the distribution of who is playing and who is interacting with video games. Generally, that is still skewing male, right? Pretty significantly. In addition, now I know those numbers are changing all the time, but it's still an issue. The other issue is it's people who are willing to spend, and this is not an exaggeration, 100, 200, 500, 1,000 hours on a single game, right? The level of dedication that has become a standard within video game has really pushed out a lot of people who are casuals. So, so there are a lot of people who I really feel need to see this story and need to be, kind of immersed in Horizon Zero Dawn world, and they're never going to do it because they're not going to sit down for 20, 30, it's about 30 hours of gameplay at least. And there are people who they don't have any brain space, they don't have any experience of, I'm going to experience a story that takes 30 hours. People who play video games all the time, it's nothing to them. I was just talking the other day, a guy who plays Civilization, and he said, I really won't know how I like this game until I've spent 200 to 500 hours playing it. And like my jaw dropped to the floor. I was like, whoa, that's unbelievable, right? And, so it's almost like it's behind this strange wall, right? So I'm hoping that, that right away, and I think this is going to happen. The game sold 2.6 million copies, 2.6 million copies, right? And it's only been out 2 or 3 weeks, right? So I think one of the things that's really incredible is, we're going to get we're going to get Horizon Zero Dawn in, in book form. We're going to get it, and that's the other issue is, do we get an animated movie? Do we get a live action movie? Something where people can consume this in 2 or 3 hours? Because I want people to see the beauty of this world, and I don't want that to be restricted to just people who play video games, right? And so I'm hoping that happens. So those are my thoughts on Horizon Zero Dawn. I really think Horizon Zero Dawn, the entire point of this video is to say, I think Horizon Zero Dawn is a huge, huge world. It is the unveiling of a world as commercially viable, as exciting, and as quality as Star Wars and Harry Potter. And that is massive. Take care, everybody.